guys, welcome back to my channel. I never know what to do for intros. I feel like they're so cheesy. Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're gonna be working on a wig. This one right here. If you're new here, give this video a thumbs up if you like it. My name is Lina and I'm a hair cutting specialist. And if you like haircuts and if you wanna learn more about hair, make sure you subscribe and thumbs up this video because it really helps with the YouTube algorithm, helps other people see the video. Today, we are gonna be working on a wig. I'm a little bit nervous and I'm also a little bit excited because we're still in lockdown here in Ontario and I get to cut this lovely wig into a bob. I think I might also give her a treatment, and I'm also gonna be doing Olaplex, a moisture treatment, a protein treatment, and maybe a toner as well. So follow me as I take care of this wig. This is the before. I'm gonna be giving her a haircut, clean up the fringe around here. I'm also going to be cleaning up all of this. There's a lot of breakage here. There's a lot of breakage from heat, styling, and all that good stuff. We're gonna send her home with some products, and I'll talk to you guys about the products. This is gonna be a journey. Let's go. All right, first thing I'm doing is I'm combing out the hair just to make sure that it is completely knot-free, tangle-free, and I want to establish the length. I want to take off whatever I know that I'm not going to need when I'm cutting the bob. So the bob is going to go a little bit shorter. I already measured my friend's head. I actually asked her how long it is from the top of her head to her shoulders so that I can create the same length for the wig. And you can see that the ends are pretty straggly, they're pretty damaged, they're pretty wispy, and there's absolutely no need to keep that hair there. This is something that we do in the salon very often. We cut off the hair, we call it a rough cut. We cut off any excess hair that we don't need, damaged hair, before we start the cut and color and treatments, because there's no sense in keeping that hair and in using products on that hair because it's just going to be a waste of product. I'm just refining the bangs. I told her that I was going to clean it up for her. I will do that at the end of the video, but for now I just want to kind of clean up a little bit while it's still dry, just so that I can get a little bit of a sense of what I'm going to do with it. Okay, so now we're choosing the toner color. I have a few colors here. I have the 6GN, 6NA, and a 6N from Redken's Shades EQ. I pulled out the color from our color swatches, and this is the 6N. The 6N is a perfect match. It might actually be a little bit lighter. I didn't want to take it any darker, but I just love toners because they're like treatments. They're ammonia-free. The Shades EQ from Redken is ammonia-free. It's so nice. It just feels like a treatment, and I can put Olaplex in the treatment. So the first step before we start anything is to cleanse the hair. I'm just using lukewarm water, and I'm gonna go in with the Kevin Murphy Restore, which is a non-foaming cleanser. It feels like a conditioner, and it's perfect for wigs. It's perfect if you have like mannequin hair and you're in hair school, you don't know what to wash it with. It's super conditioning. It has pea protein in it. So not only is it conditioning, it's also strengthening. And you basically massage it all through the hair. This is better than using a regular foaming shampoo because it just makes it easier. You don't get any knots when you're washing the hair or when you're cleansing it. You want to massage it into the hair so you can see already how soft and smooth it makes the hair, but it's also cleansing it at the same time. I actually oil my hair once in a while. I use castor oil. And this cleanser, just like one cleanse with the Restore, the Kevin Murphy Restore, completely eliminates all oil. So it's an excellent cleanser, and I'm just massaging it into the wig to make sure that I get it everywhere. It was very, very dry, so I had to use quite a bit of the product. Now I'm just rinsing it with a little bit of water, lukewarm water. There's going to be a lot of washing and rinsing in this video. And you can see already, it just smells amazing and it feels amazing, and it is a treatment. I think I left it on for about 10 minutes because it does work as a treatment. Now we're doing toner and Olaplex #1. So I measure about 15 grams of the toner, which is the 6N, and the processing solution from Redken, and a little bit of Olaplex. And I'm gonna mix it and I'm going to apply it on the hair. This is towel dried hair. first thing is I always comb the hair through, because the worst thing is putting on hair color and finding out that the hair is just knotted and it's just not working. So I'm just kind of smushing it in. It's very delicate when you do it with a brush. I usually use a toner bottle, but I actually lost my toner bottle. I don't know what happened to it. So I'm just using a brush and I'm being super careful. I didn't get any color anywhere. So the 6N is the same color as her hair. So it's not going to make a huge difference for her, whether 6NA or 6N. 6NA would have come out a bit darker, but the 6N is just kind of a 6 literally neutral. Like the N stands for neutral. Now I'm combing the color through the hair, because especially with this wig, I don't know when was the last time it was washed. There's product in it. I want to make sure that the color is completely saturated, that the Olaplex is going to be treating the hair inside the toner at the same time. I'm going to leave it on for 20 minutes to process, and I'm just massaging it into the hair. This is my favorite part. I just love doing hair because it feels amazing, it smells great, and I know it's treating the hair at the same time. So now that I've rinsed it, I'm towel drying, and I'm going to apply Olaplex number 2. So number 2, usually if you're not doing a toner, you would just spray the Olaplex number 1, and then after 10 minutes, you would apply the Olaplex number 2 on top of the 1. But since we had to rinse out the toner, Olaplex recommends that we do the Olaplex number 2 treatment, which is also very strengthening and hydrating. And it just rebuilds the bonds in the hair, and it takes away split ends. You leave that on for, I believe, 10 to 15 minutes. The longer you leave it on, the better. It's a great treatment. Olaplex rebuilds bonds in the hair, and it takes away any damage or split ends. You saw how damaged the hair was, so this is really, really a great step. Now, after the Olaplex number 2, I rinsed it, and now I'm cleansing it again, because you don't want to leave the Olaplex number 2 in the hair. It feels really gross. It makes the hair like just kind of sticky and really hard to comb through. So I'm using the Restore again, which is actually great, because generally I would give the wig 2 washes before I start working on her, but I realized that since we're doing 2 cleanses and 2 washes, then this would be great. So I'm massaging the product into the hair. Whenever you're using hair products like this and your hair is brittle or it's damaged or there's split ends, you want to massage the product into the hair. Never rough up your hair. Never use your nails on your scalp. Just be super, super gentle. And you can see now as I rinse it how much softer it's going to look. This is only step 1, because I'm still going to do a couple more treatments on the wig, but already I feel a huge difference. So this is the protein treatment. This is from TG, copyright. This is a professional treatment, and this is protein. I'm doing the protein treatment before I do the moisture treatment, because the moisture treatment is going to seal the cuticle. The protein treatment is going to give strength. I use it myself because I have really fine hair, and whenever I use it, I get a lot of compliments on my hair. You leave this on for about 15 minutes, so there's a lot of applying and waiting here, but it's worth it, because when's the next time this wig is going to get this lovely TLC Royal treatment? I'm massaging it, and if you notice, I'm kind of pushing the product into the hair. This is the moisture treatment. Again, it is also from TG. This is the base. It's just one of the best moisture treatments I've ever used. It's 2 parts, and I mix the base in with the pump that you just saw. So that one you mix together, and it creates smoothness and shine for the hair. My clients absolutely love it in the salon. It's one of my best-selling treatments that I do. I offer all of these treatments in the salon, but the moisture one has to be by far my favorite. Not only does it smell good, it actually smells so much better than the protein treatment, but it also really just makes the hair so shiny. And in the winter, our hair is so brittle and dry, and sometimes we just don't have time to take care of it at home. And so this treatment really nourishes the hair. It makes the hair vibrant. It makes the color feel better, and it seals the cuticle. It smells like musk, almost like musky. So you can see now how soft it is. The reason I'm doing all of these treatments is because I want to seal in the cuticle. So you know how damaged it was on the ends? All of those treatments are actually going to seal in the cuticles and take away all of that damage. So to start, before the haircut, I sprayed in some of the Untangled from Kevin Murphy, one of the best untangling or detangling sprays on the market. I have a couple that I absolutely love, one of them being Unite. There's also Redken that I really like, but I'm just combing out the hair. You can already feel like it just feels so healthy. Now I'm just readjusting the wig just because I felt like it was a little bit too far back, and you saw I just pinned it in. You can get one of those mannequin heads on Amazon. I will link it below. You can also shop my website for any of the products that I used in this video, including the Kevin Murphy Restore or the Untangled spray, and you can ask me any questions if you need to know what products suit you best. Now, to start out with the bob, we always start in the back and we take very thin sections because you always want to err on the side of caution, and we have to establish the guide. So the first guide has to be small and thin, and it has to kind of just be loose. So I'm not pulling it down with tension. I'm just keeping it really loose so that when it shrinks, because there's always going to be shrinkage, then I'm going to know, it's going to look much better. And then as I go through the head, the hair is going to be a little bit longer with every single section. So this is my first section. This is my kind of quote unquote my guide. But every section that I'm going to take on top of that is going to sit a little bit longer so that we get that kind of really nice curved bob feeling. And it's just going to feel a lot thicker and denser. Using a detangling spray or a prep lotion, a hair prep lotion before you start cutting, if you are a hair cutter, is really important because it makes the hair so smooth and buttery. So as I was cutting, I realized that I could freehand this and not have to hold the hair because it was so smooth to cut through. So the prepping spray just makes cutting so much easier, combing through the hair very easy, and it gives you a very realistic look for how the hair is going to look at the end. I'm using the wide teeth of my comb because I don't want any tension with this haircut, and I'm cutting straight across using my comb as my guide. It's very easy to mess up the comb and kind of turn it diagonal and not realize that it's diagonal, but I do this professionally, so I'm very aware that sometimes I tend to kind of mess up my lines, but I know what I'm doing here. I can see every single line because it is a wig. She doesn't have shoulders. If this was a client, I think, it'd be a little bit more challenging, but I would have to take off the cape so that I can actually see the lines that I'm working with. But where she doesn't have shoulders and I can literally see every single hair, and she has very little hair, like there's not a whole lot of hair on this wig, but it's actually very smooth and very healthy since we did all the treatments. I'm really enjoying the way that it's looking. It has a natural wave, just feels super healthy. And I comb always in the center, and then I start cutting as my guide, and then I move on from there, and then I'm just going to move around the head, just connecting every hair to the next one, making sure that every section is a little bit longer than the one before. I am keeping those sections a little bit longer so that she has a little bit of an angled bob, just in case, because the front pieces are usually the hardest pieces. This wig doesn't have a lot of hair. She has a lot of damage. I always keep saying it has a lot of damage. So there's a lot of wispiness, and to create density and to create a little bit more length for her, I always like to keep it a little bit longer in the front and then adjust it when it's dry. I will be doing a dry cut after this because that's really important, because like we said, it's gonna shrink eventually. Now, if you notice, I am curving my fingers inwards because I want the bob to curve inwards, not outwards. If I cut with my fingers curved out, which is kind of easier, it's going to flip out, and that's not the look that we're going for. We want it to curve inwards especially because she doesn't have a lot of hair. So that's a really interesting trick that I learned when I was in hair school. The way you cut the hair is the way it's going to sit. So shaking the hair out is something we always do when we're cutting hair because we want to see how it sits. Basically, if I just leave it combed down, like no one's ever going to just keep their hair combed down all the time. You have to shake it, you have to move it, and you have to kind of see the natural texture of the hair, because with this bob, she can also wear it wavy, like it doesn't have to be straight. So now I'm coming around the front and I'm connecting all of the lines together. I am keeping it a little bit longer, knowing in the back of my head that once it's dry, I'm probably going to take off that little corner in the front. But I do a lot of dry cutting and this is so much fun, especially because she doesn't have shoulders. So it's really funny because when clients have shoulders, I'll have to move them so many different directions just to get the angles right. Now measuring the hair length, it looks good, shaking it out, and I gave her a quick blow dry. So I just used one of my Olivia Garden ceramic brushes. I love it so much. If you want to know more about brushes, you can check out my other video on brushes. Look at how good that looks. So a little bit of toner, a little bit of Olaplex, a little bit of protein treatment, a little bit of moisture treatment gives this like rich, beautiful, blended color, and there's barely any split ends. Do you see that? Like, look at how shiny that is. And this is just a ceramic brush. There's no flat ironing here. So this is what treatments do for your hair, guys. If your hair is looking really, really bad and it's just kind of straggly and broken on the ends, go to the salon and get your hair done and have a few treatments done. And it's just life-changing because a lot of these treatments infuse moisture and protein and strength into the hair, and they actually mend and heal a lot of the split ends. Now, most split ends don't heal easily, but when you tone the hair, especially if you're not using any ammonia and you're putting Olaplex in the hair, all of those things really, really help. So that's my tip for you. I am huge on treatments. I'm always telling my clients about treatments. So I've been dry cutting for a little bit because that's always the best thing to do with bobs. Bobs are one of the most difficult haircuts ever. They're not like layers or shags. To get a straight line is really, really challenging. It's so difficult. You know, you have to make sure that it looks good for the person and it's also even on both sides. I'm loving the way this is looking. I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna start trimming her bangs. So the bangs, basically I just lift the hair up a little bit, I move it to the side, and then I start cutting into the hair because I want it to be wispy. My friend wants to wear the bangs down, so just to cover her forehead, so she's not wearing it to the side. And I'm basically grazing my scissors because I don't want to take off a lot of length. If I take off length, I can't put the hair back. It's very risky to cut, mannequin hair or wig hair too short. It's a mistake that can't be fixed. So I'm doing a little bit of slide cutting and a little bit on the ends because I don't want to have a straight line. So I do a lot of point cutting and slide cutting. So slide cutting basically just takes out a lot of the weight and it gives movement to the hair. And I go in sections as if I'm layering the hair. And I'm going with the growth pattern, quote unquote, of this wig. If your growth pattern is forward, I'm gonna use forward. If you want to learn a little bit more about bangs, you can check out my video where I cut my own bangs to do a shaggy haircut, and you'll kind of understand what I'm talking about. You have to go with your natural hairline. I have, for example, a heart-shaped face and a heart-shaped hairline, so I have to go with that. Now I'm lifting the bangs a little bit up because when you lift the hair high, you get a softer result. So I'm lifting the hair and I'm just lightly cutting into the hair. There's barely any hair coming out. This is the best way to cut bangs. You don't want to ever cut bangs straight across. It's always in small layers because the shortest layer is going to be the one on the bottom, and then the hair on top of that is going to stack itself on top. Sometimes I use texture shears if someone has really thick hair, but for this wig, I like the way this is sitting. I think she just needs a lot of texture and a lot of movement. At the end of this tutorial, after I stopped filming, I actually put in a little bit of pomade and I pushed the hair down and it worked beautifully. Whenever I'm taking length off, I always lift the hair up and I always go by very, very thin sections. You always want to be super cautious whenever you're doing bangs. Now I'm connecting the bangs to the sides because of the damage. She kind of has little natural layers around her face, but I'm just cleaning it up just to make it look, more cleaner. And now, this is my favorite part, it is dusting. So I'm basically just cutting off the split ends. I'm going around the hair. This is the last step. What split ends do to the hair is they don't allow the light to reflect off of the hair. So it actually dulls the hair when you have split ends, because when the light hits the hair, it doesn't reflect, it just kind of absorbs because the hair is dry. So when the hair doesn't have any split ends, the light shines off of it and your hair will look much, much healthier. So sometimes all you have to do is go to your hairdresser and get a dusting service, which is basically, cutting off the split ends, just going, layer by layer, and we just cut off the split ends. This is my favorite thing to do. I used to do this when I used to have long hair, and I don't think I did it properly because I wasn't a hairdresser at the time, but it's just one of those really satisfying things, maybe like pimple popping. You can see how blended those highlights are in comparison to the beginning of the video. In the beginning of the video, they looked very stripy, and now they just look super blended and natural. So I'm checking for the length of the hair in the front, because that's the most important part. Cleaning up a little bit around the front just because there is a little bit of damage still left, but it's looking amazing. As a final step, I'm just adding in a little bit of oil. This is the R&Co 2-Way Mirror Smoothing Oil. You can also get that on my website. I will link everything below. This is one of my favorite oils to use because it's so lightweight and it just kind of absorbs into the hair, and it adds so much shine and brilliance to the hair. It also treats the hair. It's not heavy at all. Whenever you're using serum, you want to start in the back of the hair and then slowly massage your hair strand by strand, section by section. You don't want to go directly to the scalp. A lot of people go directly to the scalp, and that's could make your hair feel oily. So now I'm shaking it out because I just love the way that this oil is making kind of the texture come out. It looks like I just gave her layers, which I didn't. This is just kind of like the damage from before. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know if you have questions in the comments below. Let me know if you learned a few tips and tricks. And you can always follow me on Instagram at Lina's Makeup and Hair. You can email me if you guys have questions. Let me know if you like this haircut and this before and after transformation. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for 3,000 plus subscribers. Bye.